Okay, your workouts might feel tough, but are they actually tough enough to challenge your body and change it? I personally know how it feels to be working out consistently and not continue to see the change that you are working for. So you keep showing up to the gym and you keep doing it, but at some point you stop seeing the results that you're working for, and it can be super frustrating. And I myself did this for about 4 years, and then I finally learned a little trick about training intensity and how to build up intensity in my training. That was a crucial piece. How to gauge my intensity, that's super important. And then also even how to track this so I can continue making progress on and on and on. So there is a difference between exercising and training intensity is one of those key things that makes those two actions different. So in the beginning, just getting exercising, just getting moving, for somebody who maybe was previously very sedentary, this can help you see really good results just showing up regularly for yourself. So if you have not already built the habit of consistently moving your body every single day, consistently getting in some kind of exercise, some kind of walking every day, then you don't even need to worry about the training intensity. So I would go watch my body recomp video. If that's something that would interest you, that's a good starting point. Any of my other videos might be a little bit better starting points. This is for somebody who is already super consistent in the gym. This is for somebody who is already consistent and is just stuck in this plateau. Like I said, you just stopped seeing the changes you were working for. This is where the false belief of just thinking that you need to show up every day, become exhausted, become super sweaty and just like tired and in pain. This is not training intensity. That is not what training intensity means. So if you are interested also in following along with this video, I do have a training intensity guide that I'll put in the description. So if you want to follow along with what I'm talking about, there's some good information on a written document. You can follow along with that while you watch. So training intensity, this is how you are going to be able to build muscle, which is important for almost everyone in their journey. Again, if you are not already consistent in the gym and already consistent lifting weights and doing some kind of resistance training, this isn't for you yet to worry about. But once you are already consistent in the gym, training intensity is how do you measure how much effort you're actually putting in to your reps and to your sets when you are in the gym and when you are resistance training. So this is the difference between going through the motions and being intentional with every second you're spending in your gym or exercising in general. This is going to be the difference between going through the motion and actually forcing yourself and forcing your body to change. So if you're stopping your sets when they feel tough, they're probably not challenging you enough to change your body composition and to put on the muscle needed to look lean and look toned. So the first thing I would focus on before diving into the nitty-gritty of training intensity is just building up intensity from where you are and exploring what it might feel like to push yourself to actual technical failure during your exercises, because a lot of us, especially as women, are afraid to do that. There's a lot of misconceptions about it. There's a lot of fear that we might hurt ourselves, XYZ. But if you are consistently showing up in the gym, you're stronger than you think, and you just need to continue to focus on your form as the number one priority while lifting, and learn how to trust yourself as you go heavier and heavier. And so what I like to do when people are struggling with intensity is to have them just start trying to PR every single set, if not every week, by leaps and bounds. So not being afraid in leg movements to go up 5 to 10 pounds, and upper body movements feel comfortable to go up 2.5 to 10 pounds each set, and just see what happens. because that small amount of weight isn't going to throw you off your game so much that you might injure yourself. You're still gonna have control as long as you have perfected your form, maybe have a coach review it, maybe have a good friend that you trust and they've shown the results, that they know what they're talking about in their own bodies. Listen to them, have them check your form, make sure it's good, and then just start stacking up the weights, okay? Like I said, for upper body movements, try 2.5 to 10 pounds. For lower body movements, you can do 2.5, but it'll feel more like adding 5 to 10 pounds, every set or every week until you start to learn how far you can go before actually failing. And so when you want to start learning how to actually fail, you will want to hop on some of the machines. So machines where, if you drop the weight, you're just dropping the machine, it catches itself. So you don't have to worry about, oh, if I push too hard, I'm gonna drop it. Or, oh, if I push too hard, it's gonna tweak me because the balance might get off. No, with the machines, it's balanced for you. The weight catches itself. You have no excuse to not get under that machine with good form and see what it would feel like to actually get to failure, where that last rep, you just can't even get it up and you have to bail. So a chest press, a seated leg press, machine hamstring curls, leg extensions, even lat pull downs are a good one. And just, again, things where you have a cable to catch your weights. You're not going to drop a barbell, you're not going to drop a dumbbell, and push yourself to actually fail. And then again, if you are doing a good warm up and you're priming your body for these movements properly with good form, the chances of you hurting yourself are not high, okay? You've got this. You have to believe in yourself. So now that we kind of know what we should be looking for and how we can build up, how can we then gauge our intensity? How can we have, pair the feeling we are feeling with the movement with a mental tracking system, so we give it a number, right? So this can be difficult while you're building up, and this is a good time to use my technique called doubling. Super simple, okay? If you're doing hip thrust and at 5 you're like, wow, this hurts, I want to quit, I want you to shoot for 10. I want you to double however many reps that you just did, because until you know what failure feels like, your mind is going to want to quit before your body does, because your mind is trying to keep you safe. It's trying to keep you comfortable, but we have to push ourselves further. We have to push ourselves further than our mind can allow us to go, to build physical strength and to build mental strength. This is a huge, huge component to becoming stronger in life and to building mental and physical strength, just point blank period. That's what I have to say about that. So double it. Whenever you start to feel the pain, whenever you start to feel yourself slowing down the speed of your reps, double it, okay? And then as you get more and more comfortable with what your max is, what your threshold is, and side note again, you don't have to train 1 rep maximums, okay? Train with that rep range that you've committed to at the beginning of your training block, and have a systematic way of changing that up here and there. But dedicate yourself to a rep range and test your thresholds within that rep range. You don't have to test 1 rep maxes if you don't have a spotter with you, if you don't care to lift heavy, but you're trying to lift heavy in order to change your body composition, okay? To change your body composition, you just have to push yourself 1% harder every single day. And you don't have to try and be a power lifter and hit 1 rep maxes if that's not what floats your boat, okay? They can be paired together though, if you would like. So once you get comfortable again with that failure feeling, you can then implement techniques called RIR and RPE. So RIR is reps in reserve. This means if you know how many reps you could do failing, you're going to leave a couple left and you're not going to go to failure. You know you can do 10 reps of lat pull downs at 100 pounds, and then you would fail on rep 10. Say you just knew this information. If you were going to leave 4 reps in the tank, you would have stopped at 6. You would want to have 4 more reps left in you before you know you would have failed. So again, this is where that learning how to fail needs to come first. And then once you know, you can leave X amount of reps in the tank week by week. RPE is basically the opposite of RIR, and this is going to be, if 10 is failure, you would want to train at 8 RPE. So you're giving 80% basically, rather than 100% at 10. So you can think of RPE as a percentage or as a number 1 through 10. RPE stands for rate of perceived exertion. And so it's how hard do you think this is mentally? So if you mentally cap out, or physically, it's your perceived exertion. So wherever you think you would cap out, whether it's because it's been proven, or whether you are just gauging intensity prematurely, whatever you think you would fail out at is 10, and how close you want to get to there is your RPE. Intensity, this is where I'll explain how you would periodize the RPE or the RIR that we talked about previously. But before we dive into that specifically, so tracking intensity is important to track your reps, your sets, your weights, and your tempo. You want to keep track of that. And then you need to choose how you track certain equipment. So if you're doing RDLs with 2 dumbbells, you need to decide, are you going to track both of them, or are you going to track them separately? Okay. You have to decide that. It literally doesn't matter. And then you just have to stay consistent when you are tracking. Same with any machines. If you don't know how much your leg press is, it doesn't truly matter. Just assign it a number, and you have to continue to keep that the same when you're using that same machine. And so these are those little tiny details that could be holding you back if you're not tracking all of these things consistently to actually have data to make changes as you go. So now that you know how to track your training intensity, we need to talk about periodizing it. So this is a side note. Something that can also be helpful is working in rep ranges. So to build intensity, you want to find a weight where you can hit barely the bottom of a rep range. So if you set a rep range for yourself to do 6 to 8 squats, you want to find a weight where 6 is just like, that's it, like that's your threshold at the time. And then you want to use that weight to get up to the higher end of your rep range. So start doing 6, struggling, work up to 8, struggling, nail 8, struggling, and be like, all right, I need more. And then find another weight, add on some weight to be able to struggle at 6 again. Okay. So it should be this natural ebb and flow of weight to reps, helping you build over time safely without overloading your system and, increasing the chances of getting injured with a heavier stimulus on. Okay. So it's just a slower, more progressive way to build up intensity and to feel safe, knowing you have a logical path. And again, if you are warmed up and primed and have good form, you will be all set. Okay, girl. Let's back it up and say we're doing an 8-week program. On weeks 1 and 2, you would want to train with 3 to 4 reps in reserve. On weeks 3 and 4, you would want to train with 2 or 3 reps in reserve. On weeks 5 and 6, you would want to train 1 to 2 reps in reserve, train week 7 at failure, and then do a deload week. And if you're interested in why you would want to do a deload week, go and watch my stress management video, and it will explain a lot about the central nervous system, and that plays a huge role in why we would do a deload week. So that is how you can progress your intensity in a training split. Could be perceived that training till failure is the quickest way to grow muscle and to get stronger, but fitness professionals and scientists have also seen that training 2 to 3 to maybe 4 RIR is just as impactful for building muscle as training to failure all the time, and arguably more so, and especially for women. Us as women, we do need to enter back into our parasympathetic state a little bit more regularly, and that's why we can tend to crash out and have mentee B's and just feel exhausted and maybe enter into a little bit of a depressive state. We are a little bit more sensitive, and that's the divine feminine, and that's beautiful. So just if you're a woman watching this, just know that this is okay and you can honor that in yourself. And if you want to try and push at 100% all the time, please feel free to explore that yourself. But coming from my experience, learning to accept my femininity and learning how to accept the fact that I might need to take a step back on a regular basis. That's okay, because that's a time where I can tap into other sides of me, the more creative, the more, restful, simple, happy, content girl that I am. And again, if you are interested in learning more about this, watch my Stress Management 101 video, and it talks a lot about the CNS, the central nervous system, and you'll kind of get to know what a deload week would look like. And then you can use the same technique that we just talked about for RPE as well. The numbers just would be on a backwards scale. That's really all that it is. All right, so now you know how training intensity isn't just about sweating more or feeling exhausted. It's about pushing yourself closer to failure, knowing how to gauge your effort, and actually tracking your progress so you can get stronger over time. I used to hold myself back because of limiting beliefs. I thought I was training hard, but I wasn't. Once I learned how to truly push myself, everything changed. Now it's your turn. So next time you're in the gym, ask yourself, am I really challenging myself, or am I just going through the motions? Your results depend on your answer. If you found this helpful, let me know in the comments. What is one thing you're gonna do differently in your training? And if you want more free content like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell button so you don't miss out. I'll see you later.